Tu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you for coming. We are beginning our second year of the second cycle of the 12-year course at the Bhaktivinoda Academy. So this year we'll be studying basically the same books as the first year, almost, with some exceptions. But this time we'll try to do it in a different way. Srila Prabhupada wanted his followers to study his books. First of all, he wanted his followers to read the books. And reading also, after reading, then you start to study if you are deeply interested in the subject matter. So the first year we are going through the books, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Sri Upanishad, and some others. And this year we'll try to study them in a different way, by different topics. So we used to call this chronological study, the first year, and then thematic study. But then there was a suggestion that the better way to put it is sequential and then elucidatory. Yeah? You understand? Elucidate. So, any way you put it, first you're supposed to go through the subject matter, to hear, to listen, to familiarize yourself with it, and then to start to dive deeper in the meaning. And this is what we'll try to do this year. This is actually also the Vedic way of presenting knowledge. First, this is the first stage is called Shravana, where you listen from the Guru. You simply listen and try to understand already the Shravana stage. And then the second level is called Manana, where the disciple is supposed to deeply consider the topic. First to understand what are the topics, and then to consider, to try to understand, and see how this is relevant in his life. And then the third stage is called Nididhyasana. That means when you apply the knowledge, then we get the realization. Just like we're hearing all the time, we are not this body, and often we are just bored by hearing this. But when something happens in our life, we get sick, for example, then we have a chance to practice this knowledge. And I have this experience in my life. I have given many lectures, presentations. Because my background is I'm a book distributor, so I have spoken many times on this topic to the people on the street, telling them we're not the body. And then when my body starts to deteriorate gradually, then the first reaction is, hey, wait a minute, that's something I was preaching to the choir or preaching to the people. Right? That's something. That's one of the topics of my presentation. But it's not just the topic; it's the reality for all of us. So then we get a chance to practice without the body. For example, in the morning when we well, right around here in Mayapur is not so big problem to take cold shower now. The winter time will be different. But that's another opportunity to practice. We're not the body. So, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So this elucidatory or thematic study, which we are starting today of Bhagavad Gita, it's a unique study guide that we have. Because Srila Prabhupada personally wrote it. It's called Analysis of Bhagavad Gita. He never finished writing it. He started and then he wrote the outline of it. That's what we have, the outline. And then he started to elaborate on the first topic of it, and then where he stopped for some reason. So we don't have the whole thing. But we have the outline. And on the basis of this outline, devotees in the past, in the 80s already, in our school, in the Bhaktivedanta Academy, they have prepared a study guide, and our study guide is based on the study guide of the previous authorities. Because we can study thematically on Bhagavad Gita in many different ways. For example, we can. There are 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita. This is explained already in the introduction. We could study those, or we could study Bhagavad Gita according to the first 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, and the last 6 chapters. Karma, Bhakti, and Jnana. So many. No, we could just pick up different topics. We could go through Bhagavad Gita and pick up let's say the 3 modes of material nature, the soul, God, whatever. But this is not how things are done usually in spiritual circles. We always have to look for the opinion of the opinion. That's the statements of the acharyas, and we should base our study on their presentation, if possible. Like, for example, you know that when you read Prabhupada's books, sometimes in 11th canto, the followers of Srila Prabhupada, or 12th canto, sometimes they quote a verse. No, there is a verse from, let's say, from 11th canto, which Srila Prabhupada did not translate personally in Bhagavatam, but he did translate this verse somewhere else. So they always take the translation of Srila Prabhupada. That's how it goes. So in the same way, following this nice Vaishnava tradition, we will study Bhagavad Gita according to Srila Prabhupada's study guide. And because it is a topical, thematic study or elucidatory study, first of all, what are the topics? According to Srila Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas, there are 3 main topics. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all Shastras. And these topics are Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. So Sambandha is translated sometimes as relationship. What is the relationship between you and the world? This is the first thing that has to be established. For example, right now, we have a relationship here. What is the relationship between us? If you don't know the relationship between us, we will not act accordingly, and then we will not get the result. So the abhidheya will not be proper, and the prayojana will be also disappointing. First of all, do we have a relationship? Sometimes when you talk to people, tell them hello, hi, and then sometimes they respond, do I know you? In other words, you try to establish a relationship on the spiritual platform. We are all spirit souls, and people refuse. They don't want to have a relationship. because that's the easy way out of the conversation. So we have a relationship as spirit souls. We connected to Krishna, but this is too generic, too broad type of understanding. What exactly is our relationship? This is established in Sambandha. Therefore, people everywhere in the spiritual or mundane world, the spiritual circles or completely materialistic society, they also always try to establish the Sambandha first. This is why, let's say in the army, they have these different ranks, and you can see who is who. Or people try to show off sometimes, like they have certain quality. I was speaking to a woman a long time ago, and she was explaining. She was just becoming a devotee, and she was telling me how whenever she as a woman, she looks another woman how she's dressed. She said immediately, I know what is she showing off. There is something special in her physical body that she wants to flash in front of your eyes. So people are trying to establish Sambandha, the relationship, by showing off their intelligence. They read many books, so they're supposed to be very learned, by presenting themselves as very beautiful. Therefore, people buy fancy cars, one of the main reasons, because they want to establish this type of Sambandha that I'm very important. People try to do this all the time, because if they establish and if they are successful in convincing you in their type of relationship they want to establish, then they can manipulate you. If you play the game with a beautiful person on the street, that he or she is very attractive, she can manipulate you. She can or he can take advantage. So this is what people do all the time. So on the basis of this Sambandha, then it will develop the different types of Abhideya. And Abhideya means what we're going to do now after we have established the Sambandha. We have established that I am higher, I'm more beautiful, I'm more, in any way, I'm something special. And I'm here and you're down there. So what we're going to do later, how our relationship will develop, this is called Abhideya. And what is the goal? Is Prayojana. It's interesting that these are like, theological terms. People don't know these terms. Sometimes devotees don't know. But this is what's happening all the time in our life. It is not some theoretical construct or concept. It is everyday's experience that we all have. We are just not so much aware all the time. I was thinking also that the beginning of the problems in the material world is the improper Sambandha people have. They don't have real Sambandha Gyan, so that means they don't really know what is the relationship first between themselves and then with the big boss, because we are having a it's called Durga. We are living in the material world. Of course, we're in the spiritual world right now, but we live in the Devi Dham, which means the big boss is Durga Devi, and people don't recognize this. So what happens when you go to your job and this is your boss and you don't recognize that this is the boss? You're not aware. People make these funny YouTube videos sometimes, how the owner of the company or the boss is talking to one of the employees, but the employee is so spaced out that he's not aware this is the boss or the owner of the company. So he makes some blunder, some stupid mistake, or even worse, he's trying to cheat, to take advantage, and then he's fired right away. So that's what people do, because there is no Sambandha Gyan. people, and the beginners in devotional service, we don't recognize the power, the control that the material nature has on us. We constantly deny or defy this control, and then she's punishing us repeatedly by forcing us to take another birth in this material world. Srila Prabhupada, I just read yesterday, there is a nice purport from second canto, and Srila Prabhupada explains that this aham mameti principle, I and mine, is very prominent, is the most prominent thing. I and mine means I am the Lord, I am the supreme enjoyer, and mine means I'm the supreme control, and mine means I enjoy everything. This is mine to enjoy. So this is our wrong Sambandha Gyan that we have. And Srila Prabhupada explains that if the soul is persistently trying to perpetuate this misconception, then what Krishna does, Krishna allows the soul to go into a dreamlike state, that he dreams that he's the king, he's the Lord, and this is the material existence. And Prabhupada gives an analogy, just like when a foolish child wants to capture the moon, he cannot capture the moon. The moon is too big, it's too far away. Then the parents, sometimes they give the child a mirror, and in the mirror there is the reflection of the moon, so in a sense he got the moon. So this is the material existence of the soul, the conditioned soul. Because of wrong sambandha, knowledge of a relationship, then we end up in a struggle for existence, and the prayojana, so-called prayojana, is suffering and misery. So this is the first topic of the Bhagavad Gita thematic study, Sambandha Gyan. What is the real position of the soul in connection with God and with the material energy? And this is the first part of our study guide. We're going to focus on this now. Then there is second part and third part. The second is the Abhidheya, third is Prayojana. Okay, so then this analysis on Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada contains different lessons. There are three parts: Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Sambandha part has statistics. This is page 5 of your study guide. The thematic study of Bhagavad Gita offered at the Bhaktivinoda Academy, found it? Page 5, is based on the analysis of Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. In this analysis, His Divine Grace divides his study of the Gita in three sections. Part 1, man's eternal relation with Godhead, Sambandha. Part 2, man's duty toward Godhead, Abhidheya. Part 3, man's ultimate necessity and perfection of life, Prayojana. Part 2 is further divided in two sections. This is the Abhidheya part. Man's duty toward Godhead and the nature of Godhead. So somebody may ask, why the nature of Godhead? This sounds like a topic that has to be dealt with in the Sambandha part. Okay, I can share what I think is the reason for this. First of all, Sambandha includes knowledge about Abhidheya and Prayojana. That's one thing. So they are all overlapping, all these three topics. But moreover, here in this case, the nature of Godhead is actually very attractive. So it is an impetus for our proper application of Sambandha Gyan. It's additional motivation to serve, to perform our duties, so, because Krishna is very attractive. Okay, so in this sense, it is appropriate that is discussed here in the Abhidheya part. Just like in the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada describes how Krishna's qualities are simultaneously, they play the role of Udipan, that means the impetus for the rasa to be manifest, and they also, Krishna's qualities are also part of the personality of Krishna. So they are discussed in two aspects, in two different ways. It's Krishna. Krishna is has such and such transcendental qualities, and at the same time, these qualities are motivating the devotees to render devotional service, to experience their sthai bhava and to anubhava, the vyabhichari bhavas, the sattvika bhavas, etc. All of them. So in the same way, in a similar way here, the Krishna's qualities are part of Sambandha, but they actually, this Sambandha, this factual knowledge about Godhead is actually a impetus for performing our devotional service. Yes, two people want to say something.
In the same way of thinking, like if you do something for Krishna, and if he reciprocates in a certain way, actually this becomes impetus for you to continue to serve him. So it's like part of the loving exchange between the devotee and Krishna.
Yeah.
So from this perspective, maybe also part from the Abhidheya.
Yeah.
So devotee is doing something for Krishna, and Krishna is doing something back.
Reciprocating.
And then devotee becomes even more eager to do again something for
Yeah.
Krishna.
Just like Krishna and the gopis is described that there is constant competition who will serve more. Not only the gopis, all the devotees like this. And there is this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita explaining that Krishna is supremely beautiful, but he is not so beautiful when he is alone. But when he is with the gopis, then he is even more beautiful. His beauty increases, and the beauty of the gopis as well. Alright, so the thematic study. Okay. So then some of the lessons are main points. Adhikaranas. No, we skip this. Okay, part 1 contains 46 lessons. This is the Sambandha part. Part 2 contains 53 lessons. And part 3 contains 3 lessons. So Prayojana is 3 lessons, Sambandha is 46, and Abhidheya is 53. And Abhidheya, these 53 lessons are divided into by Srila Prabhupada. So some of the lessons are main points, adhikaranas, and some are secondary points, which provide evidence for the main points. Every adhikarana replies to a doubt, and in turn raises a doubt which is answered in the next adhikarana. So this part is our own attempt to further elucidate Srila Prabhupada's analysis of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada didn't use adhikaranas or anything like this. He just wrote the main heading, which is Sambandha, in this case, man's eternal relation with Godhead. And then this one is divided in 46 lessons. So that's it. So what we try to do, we try to see how out of these 46 lessons, some are conveying the main point, and some are explaining, elaborating on these main points. So we have divided these 46 lessons in different parts. So this is what we try to do, to make it easier for understanding. And these main points we call adhikaranas, following the tradition of our Sampradaya, and the all Vedic schools, they use this term. Just like when you read the Vedanta, the English translation, because you don't read the, unless you know Sanskrit, you don't read the Govinda Bhashya. When you read the Govinda Bhashya, and then I was talking to one of my friends here in Mayapur, he knows Sanskrit well, so he was just reading from the commentaries of the Acharyas from 11th canto, and then I told him, okay, I'll read the commentary. He said, no, you will read the English translation of the commentary. Not the commentary is in Sanskrit. So what can I say? So when we read the Govinda Bhashya, then we can see that it is the book is presented in the same way. There are main points which are called adhikaranas, and then the sutras actually are explaining the main points, and they are divided like this. There are many sutras of Vedanta Sutra, around 500, but there are very much less adhikaranas there. So we try to follow the same here. Okay, then, because this is the standard way to.
So adhikarana is something.
Because I want to see the time.
The main title.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is the main topic, which often is actually most of the time is just one of the lessons. Or sometimes it is not. Sometimes we have combined one or two lessons and promoted them to the level of adhikarana, and then the rest of the lessons are explaining this main topic. So, yeah, is it clear what we have done and what we're going to study? So we have the part 1, man's eternal relation with Godhead. This is the Sambandha part. It's divided in 46 lessons, and we have divided these 46 lessons in different groups. Okay, the thematic study opens with a list of the adhikaranas connected with the Dashamula Tattva. So Dashamula Tattva is a important work by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he explains the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya in a nutshell, very condensed form, and again it follows the Sambandha Vidaya Prayojana principle, as always. So we have connected Srila Prabhupada's analysis to these main points of our philosophy, and you'll see how this is done. These adhikaranas are then presented together with their evidence and the doubts they raise and answer. Next, the relevant questions and answers from Srila Prabhupada's purports are added for further clarification. So, the analysis of Srila Prabhupada is done in, you'll see, maybe you can turn to the table of contents and see. So, there is the Adhikarana 1. So these are lessons 1 to 5. And then it says, the Adhikarana says, all living entities are eternal and subordinate to Godhead. So this is the Adhikarana. And the lessons are, lesson 1, this is what Srila Prabhupada wrote, the constitution of all living entities, and then he gave reference from Bhagavad Gita, 2:11 to from 11 to 30. So this is where this topic is explained. And then lesson 2, parts and parcels of Godhead, this is 15:7. This is what Prabhupada wrote. Living entities compared with the sun and the sun rays, 13:34. Qualitatively one and the same, 14:2. Krishna begets all living entities in the womb of Mother Nature, 14:3-4. So in the study guide we have looked these purports by Srila Prabhupada, and we have summarized them, extracted the main points, so that when we read the title given by Srila Prabhupada, then we have also the elaboration by Srila Prabhupada from Bhagavad Gita. So that's simple way this study guide has been prepared. prepared. Okay, so let's go through all this table of contents. Then the Adhikarana 2. These are lessons 6 to 15. So Sambandha Gyan means the relationship between Chitta, Chitta and Ishvara. That means the soul, the material nature, and God. So the first part, first Adhikarana, describes the living entities. All living entities are eternal and subordinate to Godhead. Then Adhikarana 2, material nature is subordinate to Godhead. Lesson 6, nature and the living entities are subordinate to the Lord. Lesson 7, Godhead in his impersonal feature is all-pervading, including the material nature and the living entities. Lesson 8, nature means potency. Everything that exists is an emanation of Godhead. Lesson 9, Godhead is omnipotent and therefore he is the master of all potencies, namely the material, spiritual and marginal. Lesson 10, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intellect and false ego are all products of the material potency. Lesson 11, living entities are products of spiritual potency. Lesson 12, above these two potencies is situated the Almighty Godhead. Lesson 13, as omnipotent, Godhead is manifested in all-pervading impersonal supreme truth, in one manner described. So Krishna has also impersonal aspect. Lesson 14, material nature is non-permanent. Lesson 15, the spiritual nature is permanent. So this is the last lesson of this Adhikarana. And then Adhikarana 3, lessons 16 to 20. The living entity is born of spiritual nature, but it has the tendency to enjoy material nature. So first, in Adhikarana 1, the general nature of the soul has been explained. That is, spiritual, eternal part of Krishna. And now, in this Adhikarana 3, it is it's given additional information about the living entity, is that it can be conditioned by matter, which is very peculiar, very, Srila Prabhupada calls this in one purport, very uncomfortable, strange situation of the soul, for the soul, that he is conditioned by matter. It normally should not supposed to happen like this. Okay, the living entity is born of spiritual nature, but it has the tendency to enjoy material nature. Here is our drama in our life. We are spiritual, but somehow or other we want to enjoy matter. So we are spontaneously attracted to something that is harmful for us. Just like a person who...
Addiction.
Yeah, it's called addiction. Addiction is consuming... The addiction consumes the person who is addicted to. This substance that he is addicted to consumes him, devours him gradually. So this is what happens to us. Therefore, in the spiritual life, we are either we will be very dynamically advancing in Krishna consciousness, actively trying to develop the spiritual taste, the higher taste, or will be, even if we are